That night, Yuki got dead drunk in front of Subin. Staggering clumsily and losing her poise, she slurringly proposed collaborating with him on a film. Mid-conversation, she nearly slipped and fell into the water. Subin reached out and caught her just in time, and Yuki stumbled straight into his arms. When she woke up sober the next morning, memories of all her awkward mishaps the previous night flooded back. Yuki planned to slip away quietly, yet Subin's friend dropped by unexpectedly. Panicking, she hastily hid in the bathroom. Right then, Subin stepped out after a shower. At the sight of his bare torso, Yuki darted her gaze about, overwhelmed with embarrassment. Gentle as always, Subin carefully dabbed the swollen skin around her puffy eyes. Yuki forced herself to stay calm and asked what had transpired the night before. She could only vaguely recall agreeing to co-create a film. Subin put on a mysterious air and teased that she had been unusually forward. Yuki's cheeks burned hot, only to find he was referring to her secretly terminating her apartment lease. She was utterly shocked. When she returned home, she found the realtor showing the unit to prospective tenants, leaving her without a place to stay. With no escape route left, she had no choice but to seriously consider the film collaboration. The following day, Yuki arrived to sign the contract with the production company. Hesitant and torn, she could not bring herself to stamp the document. Subin comforted her softly. This journey belonged to her alone, and she deserved to write its ending on her own terms. No matter what the outcome might be, he would remain by her side. His words calmed her unease. She made up her mind, signed the contract, and formally resigned from her post as a journalist. Representative Sue, the head of the production company and Subin's closest friend, promised to find a pleasant studio for Yuki and Subin. Until the studio was ready, the two would stay in a hotel to work on their script together. After checking into the hotel, Yuki set up her laptop and equipment in one go, vowing to rekindle her creative passion that had died out years ago. Yet the flame had been extinguished for far too long. She stared at her computer screen for ages, unable to type a single line. Noticing her struggle, Subin suggested she watch films for inspiration. He picked a timeless romance movie. As they watched the lead couple running through torrential rain, both began wondering about the past. If Subin had not let Yuki leave back then, if he had chosen to face an uncertain future alongside her, would everything have turned out differently? By the time the film ended, Yuki had unconsciously fallen asleep, leaning her head on Subin's shoulder. That night, Subin opted to sleep on the sofa and gave the bedroom to her. A faint smile crossed his face as he slipped the hair tie she had left on the sofa onto his wrist. When she woke, Yuki sat before the computer again. Just like the day before, she racked her brains but could not come up with any plot ideas. Subin messaged her now and then, every message filled with encouragement and companionship, telling her not to burden herself excessively. Yuki headed to the park to clear her mind and overheard two elderly men discussing young people's careers, complaining that many youngsters preferred idle, aimless lives. Yuki sighed. Refusing to become an unemployed drifter, she contacted Xiaojian and asked him to find her a part-time job. Instead of staring blankly at an empty document all day, she might as well earn money. Her part-time job was at a shopping mall. Drawing on her hosting experience, Yuki hosted a lucky draw campaign for a brand. Subin happened to visit the mall and watched her host energetically on stage. He turned around and left silently. Once her shift ended, Yuki spotted Subin waiting for her at the mall entrance. On impulse, she grabbed a mascot head nearby and pulled it over her head. Still, Subin recognized her instantly. She tried to run away wearing the headgear, only to stumble and crash right in front of him. Now that her little trick had been exposed, Yuki stopped hiding. She pulled off the mascot head and asked why he was not angry with her. Subin remained tender. He understood how much courage it had taken for Yuki to resolve to chase her dream once more. He knew that for her, restarting the film project must be fraught with fear. Subin only hoped she could set aside her anxieties, trusting that together, they could create something extraordinary. Back at the hotel that night, Subin's words lingered in Yuki's mind. Gradually, resolve flickered in her eyes. The next day was the day Yuki planned to move. When she did not emerge for a long time, Subin feared she had given up. Just then, Yuki hurried over to the car. She had only been running late. Subin helped her load the luggage into the trunk. Yuki spoke firmly. Starting now, she would work alongside Subin to create something great. That evening at home, Yuki brought up her plan to make a film again to her mother. Her mother still disapproved, insisting that filmmaking was a dream only wealthy children could afford. Yuki mentioned Subin. If Subin could pursue this dream, why could she not? From what she knew, Subin had even cut ties with his father for the sake of cinema. When her mother learned Subin was her partner on the project, she opposed the idea even more firmly, convinced Subin had brought great misfortune upon her daughter years ago. Overcome by emotion, Yuki blurted out that if she had known how things would turn out, she would have ignored her family's troubles and chased her dream without hesitation. Back then, now determined to pursue her dream, Yuki began formally discussing the script with Subin. They planned to revise the first draft they had written 10 years ago from their present perspective. To facilitate collaboration, they shared an online document. Under Subin's guidance, Yuki slowly regained her creative rhythm. Her mind was no longer blank, and her writing soon won praise from him. Between writing sessions, Yuki contacted her best friend Surin. Surin warned her that living and working under the same roof as a man would inevitably lead to charged, intimate moments. Yuki quickly cut her off, declaring she would never let anything reckless happen. Surin was about to go on a blind date. Her ideal partner was a man who was both sensual and intelligent. By chance, she ran into Subin's good friend Representative Su right by the elevator doors. She took an instant liking to him. The elevator was crowded, and her lipstick accidentally smudged onto Representative Su's shirt. When they stepped out, Surin chased after him boldly, scribbling her contact information on his shirt and telling him to get in touch to claim dry cleaning fees. Her blind date that evening turned out to be a tedious, middle-aged man. As he rambled on endlessly, Surin was overcome with impatience. Her thoughts drifted constantly to Representative Su. She suddenly realized he fit every detail of her ideal type. Making up her mind, she left the blind date behind and rushed to the reception desk to look for him. Representative Su was there at that very moment. Surin summoned all her courage and asked if he would date her. Just then, Representative Su received a phone call and addressed the person on the line as darling. Surin took the hint and left promptly. In truth, the caller was Subin. Representative Su had only pretended to have a lover to gently turn down her advance. Subin told Representative Su that the first draft of the script would be finished in roughly 2 weeks. To focus on meeting the deadline, Yuki turned down all part-time work and switched off her phone. When Yuki ran into obstacles while writing, Subin walked over. He placed one hand on the back of her chair and the other on the desk to analyze the script alongside her. He stood far too close, making Yuki grow flustered. Before she knew it, she impulsively took off Subin's glasses. Subin froze and asked what she was doing. Yuki snapped out of her daze, embarrassed by her lapse in self-control. She grabbed her laptop and hurried outside. Staring at her screen, Yuki instinctively typed one character, followed by a long string of ambiguous ellipses. When Subin saw the document, he smiled softly, typing a reply. He had already guessed her hidden feelings. Yuki could not focus the entire night, her mind filled with thoughts of Subin. Subin grabbed an umbrella and went out to search for her. Upon hearing his voice, Yuki finally sorted out her true feelings. Out in the nighttime rain, Yuki ran under his umbrella. She drew close to him and leaned in for a kiss, and Subin surrendered to his own longing as well.